Oh, hi, audience. What's up? It's Greg Sestero here to introduce you to the True Blue Riffcast, where they talk about amazing movies, bad movies, and everything in between. So you're listening to the True Blue Riffcast. Enjoy it.
Oh, thanks, Greg. This is the True Blue Riffcast, the number one Riff Tracks podcast in the world. I am Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
Sup, everybody? It's me, Dave, one of the Riff Tracks fans on this podcast.
Yes, one of the two.
One of the two
That are
That's
always on this podcast.
That's right.
Oh, so how you doing, Dave?
Well, I'm doing okay, except for the fact that I've watched a movie called Copper Mountain twice in 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about this one. We've got a lot to say about...
And it's not good, what we have to say.
No, not really. Not much at all is good about it. We also have our curated Riff Tracks Turkey Day Marathon playlist. And Jack the Giant Killer is also lined up once again to be talked about.
Yes. Or should we say that's on the table?
It's on the table, yes.
Yeah, that's on the table. We might broom it because kind of like last week, as in 4 days ago when we talked about Dangerous Men.
Yes.
In fact, I have some very interesting, well, not interesting so much as it is enraging comparisons I'd like to do with Dangerous Men and Copper Mountain.
Oh, no.
Amazingly. But anyway, I'm sure there's other stuff we got to do first.
Oh, yes. Oh, man, we've got... Seriously, like, we were talking about this movie a little bit before we started, and, yeah, nobody's going to be happy with this one.
Yeah, it's yeah. So...
Pardon me.
Riff Tracks, if you're listening, we still love you.
Yes,
and
definitely.
It's entirely the movie's fault.
180%.
I mean, yeah, you were complicit too. You chose it and you did it, but I can't escape responsibility myself because I'm the one that paid $10 and watched it, so I'm complicit as well. So I can't really. If I'm gonna blame Riff Tracks, I have to blame myself too. So.
Yes. You know, they always say when you point a finger at somebody, you're pointing three back at yourself. So,
thanks, Dad.
What do you expect from me?
I don't know. Oh, we're that age, aren't we? Gosh, dang it.
Yeah. And
we're the dads now.
Hey, I've got a few kids of my own, so definitely. But
I have none.
Before we get into our wonderful Riff Tracks discussion here, let's talk a little bit about the weekend box office. The number one movie is, of course, the newest film that opened, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which, Dave, you said you're actually going to go see that today, right?
Yes, I'm seeing that right after we record this podcast.
I want to go see it.
It's 10 a.m. here. And I'm going to go see a noon showing because that's the kind of time I have. And also it's, Tuesday's really my movie day anyway, because like that's when you can pay $9 for a matinee when it's cheap. And there's nobody else in the theater and you can just like yell shit.
Yeah, that's fun. The number two movie, Eternals,
really?
Coming
Still
in
number two?
Yeah. Coming in third place, Clifford the Big Red Dog, followed by King Richard, and then Dune.
King Richard? Oh, that is that its debut?
Yes. Yeah, it just opened. And that's a look at how tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams became who they are after the coaching from their father, Richard Williams.
Yeah, it has Will Smith in that. And I only know that because ever since I started going back to the movies, I've seen the trailer for that movie approximately 6 billion times. Speaking of Will Smith, how do you find Will Smith in a snowstorm?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
You follow the Fresh Prince.
Ah, Dave, that was awful.
That was great.
It wasn't as awful as our first movie we're going to talk about today.
We're diving right in then. Huh?
Oh yeah, diving right in.
There's
no real news. There's no real news on the movie head pictures front.
No,
he just retweeted the poster, which we've seen before.
Unless you want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, which I don't.
Absolutely not, Dave. There's nothing about that I want to discuss.
Yeah.
Regardless of what side you're on, that's not anything you want to discuss.
Yeah, no, it's like, especially with other people.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, everyone is awful.
Let's talk about something that's still really bad on its own, and that's Copper Mountain. Copper Mountain came out in 1983, and I hesitate to call it a movie, even though it technically is.
No, it's really not.
It was an advertisement for Club Med in Colorado, one of the ski resorts out there. And it stars Jim Carrey and Alan Thicke. Like, these are names that we know. And at the time, Alan Thicke was definitely more well known because he was already doing. Yeah. He was already doing stuff. Mostly, he did musical stuff because he did a lot of like game show theme songs and stuff.
Yeah, he also wrote a lot of. He wrote a lot of the music.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a lot of music for stuff. The Joker's Wild, some show called Stumpers. He wrote the music for Different Strokes, The Facts of Life, that kind of stuff. And of course, he was doing some acting at this point, but they were both relatively obscure. As far as for acting. Yeah. I mean, this was the third thing ever that Jim Carrey did. And then 2 years after this is when his star started to rise because of the movie Once Bitten. And then a couple years after that, he did Earth Girls Are Easy. And then it just kind of was an upswing from there.
And then, of course, Alan Thicke did a show that I know that I watched, but I remember absolutely nothing about, called Growing Pains.
Yes.
I know for certainty I watched this show.
I remember little bits and pieces, but there's many, many other shows that I remember more of from that same time period, from the mid-'80s. I was like 7 when Growing Pains came out, so...
Yeah, I mean, like Alan Thicke, the dad from Growing Pains, and I sometimes get him confused with what was his name? Guy on Dallas. It was also on Step by Step.
Oh,
Patrick Duffy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty interchangeable. Either one could have done either role.
It's kind of like REO Speedwagon and Journey. Like, they're the exact same band.
Oh, man.
I'm going to get so much hate in the comments.
But yeah, Copper Mountain, it's these two guys, and they're taking a vacation to Copper Mountain, of course. And Alan Thicke's character, God, I don't even remember. Oh, Jackson Reach. That was his name, Jackson Reach. And then Jim Carrey had 2 first names. He was Bobby Todd. And Jim Carrey was there to try and hook up. And Jackson Reach was there to ski in the Pro-Am and try and make a name for himself in the skiing world.
Yeah. Can I point out that both of these characters are horrible? I mean, they're horrible fictional characters. They're poorly written.
Yes,
but they're also horrible people.
Entirely. Jackson Reach is a grade A jackhole in this. Like, we'll get into the specifics of why in a little bit, but he's like He's the kind of guy that you would want to punch in the face. Like if you met him.
you also want to punch Jim Carrey in the face,
But for different reasons.
for a lot of
completely
different reasons.
different reasons.
Also he's a colossal doofus, and he also just a sex pest.
Yep. Yeah, he tries to impress the ladies by being himself, by being the Jim Carrey that we know and know. And
we know.
By, doing over the top wacky impersonations and trying
That's
to
all he had for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just like he was doing like these goofball impersonations. It's going to be a little bit difficult to talk about the story because there's not one.
There's definitely not much going on story wise. We get a lot of music in this movie.
Yeah.
By the one and only Rompin' Ronnie Hawkins.
Who?
And also Rita Coolidge.
I don't know who any of these people are. Like all the people that they got in and they all sang their 10,000 full-length songs. I never heard of any of them before. I guess they were all country singers in the 70s.
Rita Coolidge, let's see, I'm trying to look. She won 2 Grammy Awards with Chris Christopherson, who she was married to at the time. But she was a background. She did a lot of background singing for like Joe Cocker and Bob Dylan and Eric Clapton and Hendrix and Stephen Stills. But she sang "Superstar," which was mostly known as a hit for the Carpenters.
Okay. Let's talk about that for just a second. Like the song selection, because like I would say a good, over half of this movie are these live performances,
and they're all covers of other people's music.
Yeah. So this guy, this Canadian hillbilly,
Rompin' Ronnie Hawkins.
Yeah, Rompin' Ronnie. He sings 2 Creedence Clearwater Revival for the kids at home. There,
2 CCR.
2 CCR songs. Lodi and what was the other one?
Oh man, I don't even.
I only remember Lodi
because
they did it twice.
They did it twice, and they kept doing Lodi riffs throughout the whole thing.
And
let's do Lodi 5 more times.
Yeah, I'm like, no, they kept playing Lodi again. I'm like, why are they playing Lodi again? Like what?
Yeah, he was. I mean, okay. To be fair, Ronnie Hawkins was a big musician in the rock scene in the '60s in Toronto. So that's probably why.
That's 2,000 miles away from me. 2 decades before I was alive.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just sorry if I sound like really frustrated and defeated, guys, about this movie, because I'm just like I'm still very angry about it, because this movie is 60 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like the longest thing that Riff Tracks has ever done, simultaneously.
I was sitting there watching it, and it's just kept happening. More things just kept starting in this movie, and I'm like, why isn't this over yet? There's no way this movie should have still been going. It didn't feel like a 60-minute movie at all. This felt at least as long as we'll put it in comparison with the riff that they did of Batman versus Superman, which is a super long movie. It's what, over 2.5 hours, right? Yeah, this movie felt longer than that.
It's as long as The Last Jedi. It's 60 minutes, which is short for a Riff Tracks feature, I gotta say.
Ultimately, yes.
I know we've been getting, yeah. I mean, like, oh, we should find out. We should find out if our dude who is always on the message boards complaining about how they edit each of the movies. I want to see if he complains that they edit like this movie.
I did check to see what he thought of Dangerous Men, and he had no complaints as to any editing in that movie.
Yeah, no, he wanted to see the British guys ass. So anyway, there's lots of singing in this 60-minute movie.
I think we get at least 7 full performances.
I would say it's over half the movie. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, at least. I mean, because the songs were like, they weren't just like minute-long, shortened versions of the songs. They were the full things.
It was full length.
And sometimes we'd get a little bit of a reprieve from it during the song when they would cut to another scene somewhere, but you would still hear the music going in the background. You'd hear still Lodi going on in the background. Yes.
And the characters would comment about how the music is going on in the background.
There's at least 3 storylines going on in this movie.
Oh, just one more thing about the music. Just when you thought that like it was over and like you forgot about like the music, at the very end they slap you with like 2 more songs.
Yeah.
Like 2 more full-length songs. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought we were done with this.
Like in the bar at the end, the very last scene. And they're like doing like a kick line, all the characters or attempting to do a kick line anyway. It's really horrible. It's much like everything else in this movie.
I've flushed so much about the storylines themselves. All I know is Jim Carrey is a colossal doofus. And,
which, to be fair, is pretty par for the course when it comes to Jim Carrey.
It's him, but like it's particularly bad in this one. Like it's not appealing at all, like at all. Like, and he's like there's a scene early on where he's talking to these 2 girls in a hot tub.
This is the dumbest thing.
And
like seriously, the dumbest thing ever.
And he does a cannonball, like how he scares them off is that he does like a cannonball fully closed into the hot tub.
He jumps in the hot tub.
I can't think of a more dangerous, dumb thing to do.
Yeah, shoes, jeans, sweater, everything. He just jumps in. He's doing a Steve Martin Wild and Crazy Guys thing to try and impress them, and then he just jumps in, talking about something about frosty toes, and then he just hops in the hot tub. Like he doesn't climb in; he just jumps straight in the hot tub.
Yeah, like full force too. It's amazing. And
at the same time, Alan Thicke is trying to warm up on the slopes, and falling on his butt, and he says the dumbest. He says the dumbest thing when he falls. He's like, "Well, it sure ain't a waterbed."
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. Like, dude, you're on the side of a mountain.
Like, of course, it's rocks and snow. Have you ever been skiing before in your life?
Well, apparently he had, because he was pretty good at it.
He was pretty good at it, but he was also wearing that hat. So
Jackson Reach, yeah, that's stupid. I mean, and obviously we know why he was wearing the hat, because it was the only way they could really cover up that it wasn't him doing the skiing.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like a big trucker hat that's barely even on his head. It's awful. It's so dumb. Like, nobody would even try to wear something like that while they're in a skiing competition, a pro-am skiing competition.
Oh, and there's a guy that he like insults and like does like fat jokes with, and it's like, oh, well, I'm probably gonna beat this guy. And
the
then,
bartender.
Like, oh, well, he's definitely gonna lose now.
The bartender who he was born in Colorado, and then he worked for Club Med all over at a bunch of their different clubs, like in Paris and blah, 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 blah. And then he moved back to work at the Club Med there, and he was like, it was just like coming home. And this is all while he's talking to Bobby Todd, Jim Carrey's character, and not Jackson Reach. And he's like talking about, oh yeah, I used to ski and I just don't really do it that much more. Now I just eat. And they kind of laughed, and then Jim Carrey went over to try and pick up this woman at the bar, and he's doing some terrible impression of I don't even know what the heck he was trying to do. And he wasn't looking at her, and he like finally turned and he was like, I got what you need. And there was this guy there, and he's like, oh yeah, you totally do. And
oh wow, hooray, 1983.
Yay. All the while, Jackson Reach has started then talking to the bartender, and then he talks to the club manager, who is basically also Alan Thicke, and he honestly, they make a joke that they look like each other, like the guys do. And a little bit later on, there's a scene where Sonny Silverton, God, these names are so bad, sits down next to Bobby Todd. and
smoking? I mean, come on.
He goes and sits down next to Bobby Todd, and at first I really thought it's supposed to be Alan Thicke's character talking to him about striking out with the ladies. And then it cut to another scene with Alan Thicke making fat jokes about Yogi Hebadaddy, who he was going to ski against.
Stop saying the names of the characters.
He was going to ski against for the last spot in the Pro-Am, and he was really making some mean jokes about this guy. Like, the dude was maybe 30 pounds overweight at most. Like, he wasn't this giant person. Yeah. And he had a belly. That was his whole thing. He had a pot belly, and I don't even think that was real. But he's like, oh yeah, the wide load coming down the mountain.
Ice Cream Man, when they had the quote unquote fat kid.
The one with the pillow stuff.
Yeah, with the pillow. Yeah,
that's what Yogi Hebadaddy reminded me of.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to stop saying the names. But and then he finally races him, and of course gets his butt whooped.
Yeah, but then something weird happens later on in the movie. He gives up his slot because he's like, "Oh, I've already proven myself as a skier. I got nothing to prove. So go ahead and take my spot."
He was on the U.S. ski team for 10 years, so he's got nothing left to prove.
Well, then what is he even there for?
Plot point. I don't know.
Why
was anything in this movie where it was? I hate this movie. I hate this movie.
No, it's okay. So the ski stuff happens, and Jim Carrey gets on his skis.
Oh God, I forgot about this.
And then he does this super dangerous, wacky time. I don't even know what the hell he's doing skiing. I honestly don't remember.
He's trying to learn
2 hours ago.
He's trying to learn how to ski, and while he's standing there and the instructor's talking to the rest of the class, this lady comes up wearing a Club Med Copper Mountain shirt with the suspenders on the outside of her chestal area to kind of emphasize what was going on there. And she slowly skis off, and he drools off after her.
Cartoon, yeah.
Yeah. And ends up going down. It's the expert slope or whatever. And he makes it almost all the way down, and then he wipes out. And then the two women that he had been harassing the whole movie, these are the two girls that were in the hot tub. They were also in the sauna. We didn't mention this part somehow.
Oh, no, right. Okay, yeah, okay. So
he gets out of the shower to go in the sauna.
After one of the many musical scenes.
And he walks right into the women's sauna. He just walks in and sees the ladies and just oh, hey, I'm just going to go in here.
And they just
yeah, they run out. But it's really? Club Med? You want to advertise
this is something that we can do? Yeah.
Yeah, just walk into the women's sauna there.
Because like there are idiots out there who will think that be like, oh well, it happened in the movie, it must be okay.
Yeah, and so after he tumbles to the ground, wipes out. He wipes out pretty decently. And they come up to him and they're like, "Oh, that was the best. That was the best skiing I've ever seen." And she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Everything's fine except for my leg." And then they like carry him off, and he like limps away. And he's like, "Oh, my leg! Ow!" Like he's dying or something.
Like, and the moral of this story is like you're just supposed to be yourself, and women will throw themselves at you.
Yes,
but that's not what happened at all.
At least at Club Med, that's what'll happen.
Yeah. So, but oh, hi, doggy.
Mail's here. Hang on, I'm gonna mute for a second.
All right, I'll keep the show going here for a sec. Hey everybody, Jeremy's gonna go get the mail. I'm Dave. I can't see the chat, so because I'm outside. How is everybody here at the True Blue Riffcast? I hope everyone's doing well. Guys, this movie was real bad. I didn't like it.
Okay, I'm back. They're done barking now. I think they're done barking. I don't know. My beagle's still kind of.
I was just telling the guys that I can't see in the chat that I didn't like this movie. Like, and then like it all just like kind of crumbles to a halt at the 60-minute mark, and you're just like, oh, thank God, this is over.
And then more music.
yeah. Then more music. They do like 2 more songs.
It was okay.
Okay, so
Look.
I think we could talk about our like the analysis of the plot of this movie. I think I don't know how much more we can delve into it than we already have.
No, I don't think there's much more. The third kind of storyline to this was one of the ladies that works at the club. Her name's Michelle. She actually has a normal name. Her real name is Ziggy Lawrence, but you're welcome. But she's in love with her boss, Sonny Silverton, and she's gonna move back to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, if she can't be with her boss, basically. So Bobby Todd says, "Well, I'll help you. I have an idea." And he gets a bed sheet and a rope, and he puts it on like a headdress that like a sultan would wear.
Yep.
It's very offensive, but the boss kind of literally swoops in and grabs Michelle and puts her on a ski lift, and they're talking, and he's like, "I don't want you to leave. There's something special about you." And then smash cut to them laying in the snow, smooching on each other.
Oh, God. I feel like a child wrote this. It's all right. Okay, so let's talk about our feelings.
First and foremost, hey Dave.
Yeah.
Would you watch this on Rift?
I didn't even want to watch it Rift. I gotta be honest. This is just like. This, as far as movie selection goes, I know we said this at the top of the podcast. I can't really blame Riff Tracks for it. This is entirely the movie's fault. This is bottom of the barrel trash tier movie selection. And what I mean by that is, not only do I hate it, it's one of these. There's nothing about it that makes it remarkable, and I want to compare it to at least 3 other movie selections, the standouts for me this year anyway.
Oh no!
When you look at like stuff that I feel where Riff Tracks has shined in the year 2021, you have Gumby, you have Face Off, and you have Dangerous Men. Okay, like that's the kind of thing that I personally, me Dave Chadwick. That's the kind of thing that Riff Track should be doing in the year 2021 and going forward. stuff like this, I mean, like, I understand why they did it. I understand because, and it's the same reason why this movie got picked up for distribution, is because it has Jim Carrey in it.
Yeah.
Now, this movie, it's one of those movies where, like, after Jim Carrey became the #1 box office draw in America or even the world for many years, it was in Batman and The Mask and all this stuff, who's in The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Distribution companies wanted something with Jim Carrey's face that they could sell. And people at movie marketing conventions have properties. This is like a thing that can happen. Like they own properties that they can sell to distribution companies. And there are people willing to buy it so they can slap Jim Carrey's face on a VHS box or a DVD cover, and it'll sell in like Walmart or, just like or Best Buy or Media Play, or like any place where you can go pick up physical media in the late 90s and the early 2000s. I know why this movie is on the market. That's why, because it will sell. It doesn't matter if it's good or if people are going to like it. You have their money already.
I'm actually looking at the example of this right now. I'm looking at the cover for this release, which very obviously took place, after this, at this point in his career, when everybody's like, oh, we need something that has Jim Carrey in it so we can sell it to people and make money. And I'm looking at the cover for this, and it says in big letters across the top, Jim Carrey, smaller font underneath it, Alan Thicke. It's got a big picture of a younger Jim Carrey's face. Definitely not from this movie. And it says Copper Mountain, and then in very small font underneath it, it says A Club Med Experience. And then underneath that, in a slightly larger font, it says Jim Carrey in one of his first and funniest films, running riot on the Colorado ski slopes.
And here's the thing about that as far as riff track selection goes. This, I don't want to assume too much. I don't want to, step outside my place or anything like that. But it seems to me that it's like and I really don't even want to use the word remarkable, but we'll use it in this case because I don't think this movie is remarkable at all. But the one thing that makes it, like, I would say, marketable is that it's this weird entry that, like, not a lot of people really know about, even though it has a Wikipedia page for some reason, with Jim Carrey and Alan Thicke. And that's like the only thing it has going for it.
Pretty much.
Like as now, when I say you look at Gumby, Face Off, and Dangerous Men, these are all movies that, Face Off, obviously, that throwback to the MP3 era, and it was a very famously bad movie at the time, and it's just ridiculous and stuff. The Gumby movie is remarkable in the fact that it's a Gumby movie that was released in the 90s, and it's just very strange and kind of a surreal experience. Dangerous Men is remarkable because it's crazy. This movie isn't remarkable at all.
Nope.
Like, when you do stuff like this, you kind of want to pick movies that are going to be memorable for positive reasons. And like those three movies do that very well. This movie just pissed me off.
Yes.
Like I felt like watching this movie, and like, again, I'm not trying to like harp on riff tracks itself for it. I mean, I know why they did it.
Yeah.
And you can tell listening to the riff.
The riffs are good.
The riffs are funny, but you can tell that like they don't really want to do it either. It's like they're having about as much fun doing it as we had watching it.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's not even really a movie. This comparison, I know that lots of people love Fun in Balloon Land. Okay, it's not my favorite.
Me.
But it's something that, like, it's not really a movie. It's parade footage weird narration over it.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. Fun in Balloon Land is charm. I like for all its faults, I'll give it that, is that it's weird and like turn away from it.
Yeah.
This is just painful. Like
it really is. We mentioned this to each other, when we were doing our talking about it beforehand, and I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna watch this one again.
I've seen it twice now, and it's one more time than I would like to have seen it.
This will be one that it's gonna get buried, and I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna feel bad about that.
Yeah. Okay. So
it'll have good initial sales again because of the whole Jim Carrey, and Alan Thicke thing. Mostly because of the Jim Carrey part of it. But this is rough, man. Like,
yeah, it's. Yeah,
I
man,
feel the same way about this one that most people feel about the Roller Gator riff.
What? Roller Gators?
No, we Dave and I both love the Roller Gator riff. A lot of people do not. And that's kind of how I feel about this
Roller
one.
Gator is so much fun, though.
It is. I love Roller Gator.
So much,
you don't have to convince me.
Like, you hear Roller Gator, and my mood immediately changes.
Yeah.
Like, Roller Gator, like this is like the anti-Roller Gator. This is like the anti, like, insane fun. This is just like suicidal.
Does this rank down with the Oblivion films for you? Or under the Oblivion films?
Look, this is absolute. Okay, look. Here's the thing about Oblivion. Okay.
I know you absolutely hated that one.
I do. I hate both of them. But the riffs are outstanding. I mean, they did a great job. Those are A+ riffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so like they're redeemable in that sense, but they're also awful experiences. This you have fun with Mike, Kevin, and Bill in it, but there's nothing redeemable about the movie. Like,
there's one thing redeemable. One thing redeemable about it.
What's that?
That is the fact that right at the very end, they make a joke about the gobbledygooker.
Yeah, that just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think it's Kevin, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin says that if you have no idea about anything about the gobbledygooker, it was a stunt that the WWF tried to pull about this mystery. They had this giant egg. Yeah, Survivor, which just happened. The recent one just happened on Sunday.
I had no idea Survivor Series was happening, and I'm a pro wrestler, guys. Or was.
They had this big egg that they kept touting. They kept touting around, and they're like, "Oh, what's gonna hatch from the big egg?" And at the event, the egg hatched, and it was a dude in a turkey suit called the Gobbledygooker.
The Gobbledygooker.
And he danced with Mean Gene in the ring, and was basically never heard from again.
But
it was as bad as a gimmick as this was a movie.
Yes. Now, as far as where this ranks, I mean, and we don't really talk about where we rank the movie because there's so much riff tracks now. Yeah. I mean, they started to put it on their site. Like, if you include all the Riff Tracks Presents, I think they've riffed 451 movies now.
Yeah, they have like a counter now that shows how many movies they've riffed, how many shorts they've done, and I think number of live shows.
Yeah.
Let me check real quick.
Well, I mean,
but yeah, it's
yeah, the point is they have the counters. There's just so much that trying to rank things now, unless it's at the very unless it's at the very top or at the very bottom, I think is the only times you'll hear us talk about where this falls in the Riff Tracks pantheon as far as quality goes. And for me, this is absolute bottom of the barrel trash tier. This for me, and I very famously hate the Chad Vader Star Wars prequels, Attack of the Clone. Attack of the Clones and The Empire Strikes Back. Those two, to me, like this ranks down there with those two. With those two. Again, it's entirely the movie's fault. Again, I'm not trying to say Riff Tracks did a bad job. I'm just saying that this movie was terrible and made me feel awful.
Yeah, this is solely based on the film. This was a
miserable experience.
It was very, very, very rough.
And I feel bad because I feel like I'm detracting sales from Riff Tracks. People who want, hey, look, guys, if you want to check this out, check it out. Okay.
This is the red zone Cuba of Riff Tracks.
Just be warned. Like, you're not going to have a lot of fun. I mean, I feel like I would be dishonest if I can't. I mean, like, and I rarely come onto the podcast, hardly ever, and have this much negative stuff to say about a Riff Tracks release.
Yeah.
But this is just bad. Like, it's check it out. If you're a completist like me, have it in your collection. But just keep in mind, you're only going to watch it once.
Yeah.
Just to see. In fact, I would do that. I would recommend that you buy it just to see how bad the movie is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Like, you have to at least watch it one time. Or try and make it through it one time. Like,
and guys, I did it twice.
Yeah.
I paid $10 and I watched it twice.
And when Dave sees something he doesn't like, he nopes out and turns it off. So
yeah,
the fact that he's watched it 2 times is
you can't
says
say that
at
I'm
least
not a
something
dedicated
about
Riff
it.
Tracks fan. Like, I know the wiki has gone completely to hell. It's not entirely my fault, but I'm still a dedicated Riff Tracks fan. Even though I don't do very much in the fandom anymore besides this. And that's for different reasons. But you can't say that I'm not still a dedicated fan in my own right, because I watched Copper Mountain twice.
Yes.
Which is more than, like, I didn't watch Dangerous Men twice. Can we talk about that for just a second? Last week, we came on the show and we're like, we have to talk about Dangerous Men for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we had a pretty good experience, not only watching it. Okay, I mean, it was weird, and we both said that we were never going to watch it again. I think I might after this. I think I might go back and watch Dangerous Men just to get nostalgic for a time when I had not seen Copper Mountain.
The more I've thought about Dangerous Men, like,
the
even
more brilliant it is.
Since our last episode, like, I'm kind of like, it's skeezy as all get out.
Yeah,
but
it's brilliant movie selection.
Yes, it is a great riff. Like, I feel like it, not for the same reasons, but I do kind of want to watch it again, and I definitely would rather watch that one again than watching this one again.
But the thing is, I watched Dangerous Men and I was like pumped up. I was like ready to talk about it. I want to find out as much about that movie as I can. I want to erase this movie. I want to erase Copper Mountain from my memory. So, yeah. I mean, that's just. So, I mean, just the contrast of how insane. I mean, and you can't say that Dangerous Men doesn't have a personality. We talk about movie personality a lot on the True Blue Riffcast.
Copper Mountain is like the most boring person you've ever met in your entire life. That's the personality that Copper Mountain has.
Like, it's offensively boring. Yeah. So yeah, that's for me. It's bottom of the barrel, trash tier movie selection.
Definitely.
It's like it's down there with the Chad Vader riffs.
I think that's all we got for Copper Mountain.
We could just talk for an hour, just like trashing Copper Mountain. I feel bad, but like, these are my feelings. I can't pretend like I don't feel this way.
I mean,
but we should probably move on.
Yes. So Thanksgiving is almost here, right? Yep. That's only a couple days away. After watching the parade and gorging yourself on turkey with all the fixins, turkey, yes. You generally have 3 options. You can watch football. and it's always the Lions, and I'm a fan of the Lions, and I say ew. Taking a nap or riffing, because, as started back in the MST3K days, the Turkey Day Marathon is still a thing. They still do it, stream it online or whatever, and they always have a different lineup and whatever. So I decided that we would make our own Riff Tracks Thanksgiving Day Turkey Day Marathon. And we have a wonderful list of shorts and full-length movies for you to watch as an alternative for the other Turkey Day Marathon.
Yes, we made this list 3 years ago?
Yes, we originally created this list 3 years ago. There's been a few updates to it since then, and it was never actually a real part of the podcast. I think we may have mentioned it in our first season, but I don't really remember because that was 2 years ago. And it's really hard to remember all the stuff that we've talked about on the podcast.
There are times when Jeremy will tell me, oh yeah, we talked about it. We did?
Yeah, we did that movie.
And I'll listen to past episodes of the podcast, and I'll be like, I don't remember this conversation at all, at all.
But up first is a classic from ACI. It's the short "One Turkey, Two Turkey," which is actually one of my all-time favorite shorts from Riff Tracks. It's so bizarre. It's supposed to be a thing about learning how to count to 10, and it's about turkeys in cages on a turkey farm. And I think they make a joke, something about if your film could double as a warning thing from the ASPCA, you might have some issues with it.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, it just has this countrified song about counting to 10 and turkeys and kazoos driving turkeys insane.
Yeah.
It's a great short. I absolutely love it, and it's a perfect way to kick off, at least in my opinion, the your Turkey Day Marathon. And of course, what Thanksgiving Day is complete without a parade? And I know Dave kind of mentioned this one a little bit ago, but Fun in Balloon Land would be next.
Yeah, that's a short one. That's 57 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's even listed under the feature length riffs.
No, it should be.
I think it's listed under shorts.
Well, it's not a short, that's for sure.
Fun in Balloon Land. Let's see. This is 55 minutes long. It came out in 2014. 2014. Oh, but this one is, at least in my opinion, this is an all-time riff right here. It's mostly a recording of the 1965 Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade that has the most insane narrator on it, and it's got some weird bookends on it. It all takes place in a warehouse.
There was a rumor recently on Twitter or someplace that someone said they went on IMDb and discovered that the narrator from Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny is the same narrator from Fun in Balloon Land. Turned out not to be true.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's accurate. They do sound similar. But, yeah, this person is definitely, I don't know if she's drunk. She's got to be drunk, at least. It was the 60s, so there's probably more involved than just alcohol. But, I mean, it really sounds like it anyway. She sounds whacked out of her gourd completely.
Hey, I got to put you on mute for just 1 second. Keep talking. I'm still here. I just got to put you on mute for a second, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, we still watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I've got kids, and they still watch it. But I think that this would be a great replacement for that, unless you're like me and you're kind of hyped for the Grogu balloon that's coming this year. I think that'll be kind of fun. But our next entry is a short. This one is a Riff Tracks Presents short from Bridget and Mary Jo. And this one... Oh, God.
Okay, I'm back.
This one's called Let's Talk Turkey. And it's basically, if you don't know anything about turkey, this short will teach you everything you could ever hope to learn. It even tells you what giblets are. And I have to mention this. He's in the other room, but I think he's got his headphones on, so he probably won't hear me. But when he was younger, he did not know what the giblets were, and we asked him what he thought they were, and he thought it was the turkey's nards. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, so just something to embarrass my kid. I had to share that. But yeah, let's talk turkey. It's a good. Bridget Mary Joe is one of I think it was one of their earlier shorts that they did, but it was pretty good. The next one on the list actually came courtesy of Dave, way back when we did this. I was looking for a deep cut.
The deep cut of deep cuts, the ultimate deep cut.
And Dave gave me this one.
The 2014's Yam Bao.
Yeah. We definitely need to talk about this.
Let's talk about that. Let's put that on the table.
Yeah, this one needs to be talked about in an upcoming episode because this one's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot about voodoo and down in the
and
Cuba.
slavery.
Yeah.
It's got it's got a lot of slavery in it.
Yeah.
We just gotta well, I was just gonna say we just gotta own it. But that's
boo.
Yeah. Sorry. Welcome back to the edit, everybody.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wish we still had that for. But I was actually when he mentioned this one to me, I was a little bit ashamed because I owned the Rift and I had not even watched it at this point. I brought shame to my claim as the number one Riff Tracks fan. But I refuse to relinquish that title. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
That's something that's a real thing that we argue about. It's not a gimmick.
Nope. It's definitely not a gimmick.
It's
and
definitely something that's measurable.
Yes, and I'm definitely still the number one ranked fan on rifftracks.com under the achievements. I may have held that spot for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're going to hit our next short. This one is Dining Together. If you need advice on how to behave at your family Thanksgiving dinner, this is a short you need to watch. It's actually, I think it was a sequel to another short that they did, Playing Together. I don't remember which one came first. I think Playing Together came first. Playing Together came out February 26, 2009.
Chronology of shorts is a mystery to me, man.
And Dining Together came out November 25th, 2015. So it's definitely the sequel. They did it 6 years after. Wow. But yeah, it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. It's not it's not the next short we have on our list, but we'll talk about that one when we get there because that one is whoo boy. But the next feature length we have is The Wonderful Land of Oz.
Oh yeah, that's a great Thanksgiving one. That's a great one for Thanksgiving.
Yes, because the actual Wizard of Oz has become a Thanksgiving tradition, and that was riffed, and it had a great riff. We did talk about that one in our first season of the podcast. It's an outstanding riff.
Have we talked about The Wonderful Land of Oz?
I don't remember if we talked about The Wonderful Land of Oz, but I know we talked about...
That's a good one. That's a great
I know we
job,
talked about The Wizard of Oz. I'll check that out. Go ahead and tell the people a little bit about Wonderful Land of Oz while I...
Wonderful Land of Oz is an incredible mashup between The Wizard of Oz and Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny. And when I discovered that they were finally going to riff, it's because it's public domain. And it's directed by the director of Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny. So it's like you're getting two riff track sequels for the price of one. And it's bonkers. It's like Pirates. It's like, I believe it's shot at Pirates World. I believe. I could be wrong.
Yes,
but,
it was.
It's everything you would come to expect from the maker of Santa and the Ice Cream Bunnies, to include super sexy majorette armies. Dude, we have to talk about this movie full length. because if I start talking about it now,
we did mention this one before. We did do a full-on complete Thanksgiving special where that's the only thing we talked about was stuff to watch on Thanksgiving, way back 2 years ago, and we did talk about a few different movies that we don't have on this list. We had Birdemic in there and the Santa Claus live show, but we did talk about Wonderful Land of Oz, not at length. We need to do a full-on.
We need to talk about it at length.
We'll do a full-on episode of Yambao and the wonderful Land of Oz together. This it's made by the same guy who made Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, and it's ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous, if not more so.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I love it. It's one of my faves.
Yeah, moving on to the next. This next short is called A Day of Thanksgiving. November 25th, 2015. This one was also released. But it's this came out in the 50s. This was from Young America Films. And this is like an anti-communist.
Good. Can't get enough of that these days.
It's all about the shadowy political gangsters dragging people off to jail, and oh man, it's. I'm gonna say it. We don't talk politics, but
no, we don't. Why not?
This is pretty. It's pretty fitting for conversations that some people are still having
at their houses
in the year of our Lord 2021, and so if you need a way to deal with some of that, maybe watch this short.
Watch that. And then when your uncle brings up his opinions on Kyle Rittenhouse one way or the other, you can be like, hey, look, communism.
You can talk
Something
about the
more
deep state police.
To talk about.
Oh, man. But, if you start all this after Thanksgiving dinner, by the time you get past this short, it's going to be kind of late. Thanksgiving's going to be coming to an end. And as soon as Thanksgiving comes to an end, that's when everything... Like, most things currently are already switched over to Christmas, but everything switches over to Christmas as soon as Thanksgiving is over. And so you kind of want to end it on kind of a Christmassy note. And we're going to end this list with the Star Wars Holiday Special, which technically isn't Christmassy. It kind of is.
It's technically Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's technically Thanksgiving because it was November 17th that it aired, which just passed, and that is what has been known as Life Day within the Star Wars fandom. And they actually did...
a supportive forum, I gotta say, Star Wars fandom.
They're so nice and open and not gatekeepy at all.
Yeah.
But they did, I think it was last year, when they released a new Star Wars Holiday Special. It was a Lego Star Wars.
Oh, that was outstanding.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Good.
It's really good.
It was
Disney Plus. Everybody go watch that.
Yeah, it's Lego. So it's got all the good humor in it, and it's all about Life Day and Chewbacca, and it's really good. It's really good.
The showdown between Kylo Ren and Darth Vader that should have been in The Rise of Skywalker if it wasn't. Assholes.
Yeah, because they go through travel through time.
Yeah,
and
they do a better job of it. Don't get me started on Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, no, we don't need to start that again. But Star Wars Holiday Special, infamous, even before Riff Tracks. In the fact that it only aired one time ever. It's never been made available anywhere else to watch other than through Riff Tracks.
I'm amazed that they got the rights to sell it on VOD.
And
I really, truly am. Like if I ever get to talk to any of those guys ever again, like one-on-one, like I have like a list of questions. Like, how did you get the rights for the Star Wars Holiday Special? How is that possible?
Yeah, it's never been riffed or had never been released officially. You had to buy like bootleg copies of it at conventions.
Or like go on like video.google.com to
and all of the commercials are intact.
Are in it, yeah.
Now, they've recently, a few years ago, they got their hands on a better quality copy.
Really? Is it the same
holiday
version?
special? I don't remember. I wanted to check and see if the commercials were the same.
Man, like those commercials are like the best part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the same version. It might be slightly different because it seems to go for a very long time without any commercials. So it might have been a different market, and so they cut out some of the commercials. Either that, or it's like one of the Mandela effect things, and I'm just misremembering. Is that our helicopter back again?
No, I'm just way closer to the road.
I heard something. I heard something in the background. I was hoping it was our helicopter friend.
No, it was not our helicopter friend to make me enraged.
But the Star Wars, the Riff Tracks Star Wars Holiday Special, and I've been so busy with work, I forgot it was coming up last week, and then it was like the day before, and I'm like, crap. Because usually I'll do a thing where the last few years I've watched it for 24 hours.
The Star Wars Holiday Special?
The Star Wars Holiday Special I watched for 24 hours in a row for a couple years.
Story?
I did that. Yeah, kind of like a Christmas story.
I hate that. I hate that so much. They wrecked that movie so hard. Playing it over and over and over again for decades.
Yeah.
I used to love that movie. Now I hate it. I can't stand it.
And now they do. I know USA a few years ago did 24 Hours of Elf.
Why?
They started doing that. I don't know, man. Like
I don't get the appeal of Elf. Sorry, I don't get it. I don't get Will Ferrell.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
I know it's a Jon Favreau movie. And I usually like stuff that he does, but Elf, no. Not my thing, man.
You're an angry elf, aren't you?
I guess. I've seen it one time. Is that a reference to the movie?
Yes, kind of.
Okay. I know I've seen it one time, and I wasn't a fan. Like, it's kind of like when I finally saw the movie Fargo, and I was like, this is the same joke over and over. This is awful. People liked this? What? Like this is, but yeah,
I've never watched it.
It's kind of like
that's one of those.
Thing, yeah.
That's one of those movies I've never seen.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Watch season 2 of the TV show, and you'll be good. That's really the best Fargo experience.
Yeah, I haven't seen Fargo. I think my list of movies that I haven't watched is not going to be on the same level of surprising as the list of movies that you've never watched.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you mention some films, and I'm just like, what? Like, how have you not even seen that accidentally by now?
Like, or something like The Terminator. Like, I haven't seen a single Terminator movie. Hasn't happened.
Oh. That one's a little crazy to me. That you haven't even just watched the first one.
No, I haven't. Like, not even out of curiosity. Like, well, yeah. But
it's like I've never seen any of the Godfather films. So
what's that?
It's just the Godfather movies. I've never watched any of those.
I saw those movies for the first time, like I think either last year. It had to have been last year or 2 years ago. And I was like, "Oh, Al Pacino's in this? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, he's the main star. Oh, okay. It's what he's primarily known for. Oh, well, learn something new every day."
Yep.
It's like, okay, you guys come at me, okay, for not seeing every movie. Come at me when you've seen Saturday's Warrior, all right? Then we'll talk, okay? But until you can tell me what Saturday's Warrior is without looking at Wikipedia, I don't want to hear it.
After you've watched through the entirety of Dinosaur Island, then come talk to us.
Yeah. Come talk to me about not having seen a list of movies. Go tell you what, I'm very well read. And bunch of crap nobody else has seen.
Oh,
okay?
Totally.
So, but anyway, maybe we should wrap it
Oh man, yeah. I think we've been going for long enough. Sorry, Jack the Giant Killer.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Well,
looks like you're getting bumped back once again.
we're gonna get to you. You're one that we love. You're one of the very, very good ones.
I mean, that was the first ever Riff Tracks I ever watched, so
I think it might have been my first Riff Tracks live show.
yeah, it was just my first overall Riff Tracks
experience.
anything. Yeah.
Oh,
so I
by
got
the
to
way,
watch. I got to
Guess what?
watch.
That was 10 years ago.
Shut up, Dave.
It's 2011. It's 2021, and 2021 is about to end. Next year's going to be the 10-year anniversary of Manos: The Hands of Fate, Riff Tracks Live, and Birdemic Live. So we have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Our hashtag mortality.
Yep.
Speaking of
Getting
hashtags,
old. Speaking of hashtags, what are you hashtagging?
oh, that was like, well, I suppose I was trying to set you up to say check me out on Twitter and all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're trying
sorry,
to be clever on a segue. Got it.
Yeah.
Hey,
it clearly did not work.
No, I am too thick to get subtle things like that. If you like the podcast, you can head over to patreon.com/trueblueriffcast and you can support us there for a couple $1 a month if you would like. If not, hey, no big deal. We're not in this for the money. We just do it because we love Riff Tracks. But you can follow me on Twitter at PBandAwesome. You can find me pretty much on any other social media platform under that same name. And you can follow the podcast at TBRiffcast, also on Twitter.
And you can check me out on Twitter at DChadwickAuthor. Yes, I finally got my own Twitter handle.
Yeah, you did it right again.
And you can check me out on davechadwick.info. Buy all my books on Amazon because I am in it for the money on that.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
We'll see you guys next week on the next episode of the True Blue Riffcast.
Rock till you die.